If we have 42 bodies that we are looking at, are you telling me there was not a missing persons report? If Wambua, the guy who had been retrieving these bodies, said that previously he had retrieved 8 bodies. So it has been an active crime scene from 2022. Eric said that has to be a record of serial killer crime solving worldwide, from the time the dumping ground is discovered to solving of the crime. With maandamano being tomorrow, forgive me for being a skeptic. Time will tell, but if they did actually get the killer, well and good. The DCI were able to tell us that this person, their prime suspect, has killed or has murdered 42 people who are women. He says that the first victim, the first person he has ever done this to was his wife. Hello. Now, the DCI held a press briefing today and they told us point blank they have their person and he goes by the name Collins Jumaisa Arusha. And we will definitely be breaking this down because a lot of Kenyans are saying something somewhere does not make sense. This is either fishy, too fast, or the DCI have definitely gotten too good at making sure they catch people at record time. Now, in case you are watching this and you might not be aware what's happening in our country right now, we are going through a tragedy. And just by that press briefing, the DCI were able to tell us that this person, their prime suspect, has killed or has murdered 42 people who are women. Let me break this down because I believe one person of interest here is Josephine. And I really want us to pay attention to her because her relatives, the sister and cousin, are the people who made this happen. They are the people that led us to the discovery of these bodies at the Kware dump site. And I just want to take you through who Josephine is so that we can be able to continue with this analysis, and also you guys can be able to share your views on what you think about this press briefing. Do you think this is the man, or do you think this has been done too fast to cover up something? Now, when the news broke that we had bodies in Kware, people went back and they dug and 2 people came. This is the cousin to Josephine and the sister to Josephine. And they said that dreams had led them to that place because Josephine had gone missing and she was disturbing them in their dreams, and she was saying this and that, and she was saying she's in a cold place. And so they went to that Kware place and they got this incredible person who has helped retrieve a lot of bodies from that place, Wambua. And so as Wambua was, just digging and trying to figure out things, he bumped not only on one body but multiple bodies. So let's first listen to Josephine's cousin and Josephine's sister because they are going to play a huge role in this discovery.
Majina naitwa Evelyn Wetinte na mai cousin to Josephine Owino Mlongo mwenye alipotea. Josephine mimi alikuja kwa ndoto on Monday. Kaniambia dada yangu alikuwa anataka kuingia kwa nyumba, namwambia usiingie, mbona unatutesa hivyo, tunakutafuta sana. Kaniambia mimi niko tu hapa. Kaniambia dada yangu mimi nasikia baridi, niko kwa mto. Nikamuuliza kwa mto wapi? Hakunijibu, akadisappear. Tusione Monday. Thursday nikatoka kazi, nikasikia niko tired, sikupika, mimi nikalala. Kulala kufikia saa 5 usiku alikuwa amenikujia. Ananiambia dada yangu, nikwambie mimi waliniua. Walinidunga visu kwa mapaja na kwa shingo. Mimi siko mzima. Lakini niko kwa maji. Na kwa maji ukiuliza Paris atakuonyesha hiyo maji. Unajua mimi sikai kuna kaka yole. Kaniambia niulize Paris anionyeshe ile maji. Akaniambia unaona ile maji ile yenye iko na takataka ile pale, niko chini kwa hiyo maji. Kamwambia na unaniambia nini? Unaishiji kwa maji? Surudi tuishi huku. Akaniambia hapana, mimi waliniua akanitupa kwa hiyo maji. Nikaamka hivi nikampigia simu immediately. Nikamwambia dada yako anasema ako kwa maji ya takataka. Unaijua hiyo maji? Akaniambia hata jirani ameniambia saa hii ameota ndoto kama hiyo na akampeleka mpaka mahali hapo.
Now let's listen to Josephine's sister, Paris.
Saturday usiku, mi nilikuja nikamuota. Kumuota, nikaona amekuja kwa nyumba na kaniuliza, Paris, kwa nini watu wanakuja kwa nyumba? Juu watu wanakuja kwa nyumba. Wanakuja kwa nyumba wanasema ripoti imefikia wapi. Na kuna sauti ya mwanaume yenye nilikuwa nasikia kama mwanaume alikuja kaniongelesha kama niko na yeye. Kaniambia, Paris, umesikia chenye nakwambia? Dada yako amesema mwili yake ipelekwe nyumbani. Usijaribu kuzikwa mahali popote. Umesikia? Nikasema niko na imani dadangu anaweza kuwa hapo ndani, kwa maana si real mtu mwenye ako hai kukuletea ndoto ako ndani ya maji na baridi na mkula, na alidirect mtu akupa hiyo mto. Sasa mimi niko na hopes maybe kama kwa hapo haiwezi kutoka. Na patikane tupeleke mwili nyumbani.
So guys, that's Josephine's cousin and her sister, Paris and Evelyn. And you remember, guys, the reason why this is so important is because this was the origin. Had it not been for these two, we would maybe never have discovered that that dumping site was a crime scene. And just to summarize, they went and they sought help from these young men, including Wambua, who were able to go and retrieve not only one body, but multiple bodies and body parts, right? Why is this important? This is important because, as you know, the DCI have spoken of someone by the name Josephine, and they are referring to the same Josephine who disturbed the relatives through dreams. And so this led us in not only discovering that that place was a crime scene, but also the realization that it had been used as a dumping site for multiple bodies and body parts, right? So they say after a forensic analysis and, you know, the money transfer between Josephine and this person, this was able to lead them to the house, which is just 100 meters from the crime scene and 1 kilometer away from the police station. So the house of this guy, Collins. But then, guys, remember, Paris had said earlier that when she was with Josephine, because she says she's the last person who saw Josephine, Josephine received a call. I think it's a call or a text, and then she left hurriedly, and they have never seen her again. So we don't know whether she went to meet this man. We don't know where the money connection comes in. We don't know whether she sent the money, but the sister insists that there was communication between her and someone, and so she left in a rush, and they have never seen her again. So si tumefika sasa, the DCI, the connection between this person and Josephine has led them to the crime scene, this house of this particular person. They say they got the person he was just from watching football, and so this person led them to his house, and then he gave the DCI a full confession. What does the confession entails? The confession entails a lot. This alleged confession, you know, it entails a lot. And one of the things my team was just talking to me about is the fact that the DCI have already labeled this person as psychopath. So we do understand for someone to be labeled as psychopath, there has to be a mental evaluation that has taken place, right? So we don't know if between 3 a.m. and the time the DCI have released this report, whether a mental evaluation has taken place to term this person as psychopath. But then in the full confession and in just the generosity of this person giving this confession to the DCI, he says that the first victim, the first person he has ever done this to was his wife. So he says he put a couple of businesses for his wife and she akakula hiyo pesa, and so he was angry and then he went ahead and just killed her. So I'm assuming this is him confessing. This is him actually now telling the DCI the truth, like, hey, Menishika, let me just tell you guys the truth. truth, not only am I the person who has killed these people, but I'm also responsible for 42 others, including my wife. All right, what a confession. And so he goes ahead and says that he's very attracted to these beautiful women. He does this to beautiful women. Again, the definition of beautiful, he knows, or the DCI, they know. But he says, you know, his wife was the first casualty, and then these other women followed. And he is usually at, you know, he does this to very beautiful women. And among some of the things that were found in that house, so this is his house that had so many things. I mean, he's 100 meters away from the crime scene, and he has all these things in his house. And let me just read for you some of the things that the DCI discovered from his house. All right, so we have the machete, they said, that was used to dismember the victims, 12 nylon sacks similar to those used to dispose the victims, a pair of rubber industrial gloves, 4 huge clear sellotapes, 1 female pink handbag, 2 female panties innerwear, 24 Airtel holders with new SIM cards, 8 smartphones and 2 feature phones, 6 male IDs and 2 female IDs, a laptop, hard drive, flash drives, a reflector jacket, and also ladies' photos and videos in at his house. So these are just some of the things that were discovered. So even if we were to go with the 2 female panties innerwears and also all these female things that are inside his house, one would actually make a conclusion or an assumption that sexual abuse might have taken place before he actually killed these victims. But one thing stands out, and there are so many questions, and as I said, there are so many people who are now scrutinizing what the DCI just said. And unfortunately, there are so many people online who have given their own analysis, and they are saying, well, this is a record time for the DCI, and unfortunately, we do not believe in what just happened. I just want to read for you a couple of reactions that we have been able to gather, and one of the I'm gonna read quite a few so that we can get the feel and also what people are thinking. Atieno had said, why the hell are they setting up Kware dump site on fire? Are they hiding something from us? Thought they have the culprit, and that was to make it easy for us to know how many more bodies are yet to be recovered. Something isn't adding up. Someone is dying for the government, all right? So I'm gonna read the rest, but let's just pay attention to that part. As you know, the Kware dump site is on fire, or was on fire by the time you get to watch this, and it's a crime scene, right? And that brought even the conversation of how do we handle crime scenes in our country. Remember when the documentation was going on all these people who have been dismembered, when everything was being covered, the place had not been secured. And also, if you can remember, the hero of the story, or the the person people are praising most in this case, is Wambua. Wambua is the gentleman responsible for retrieving all these bodies from the dump site. And so people were even asking questions. As much as we want to give Wambua his flowers, why do we have members of the public doing what our agents have been trained to do? Was there no one better to be able to get into the dump sites and help in retrieving these bodies, given that Wambua was not well equipped? He was entering a contaminated area, but he had no protection, no equipment. So how exactly do we handle these crime scenes, and why are we letting members of the public do what our agents have been trained to do? Another thing is that, as I said, the crime scene had not been secured, so it becomes really contaminated, and that's what we are witnessing right now. Given that the dump site has been set on fire, what happens next? Why? Who did this? Why was it done? And what exactly are we missing in this whole story? Another person says, the government is hiding something. On Saturday, around 2 p.m., a TikToker who was live on site reported 42 bodies had been recovered. But that same evening, police and media houses reported that only 8 bodies had been recovered, only for DCI to report 42 bodies today. Again, there has been an issue of number. How many bodies exactly have been retrieved? We have so many different sources. People are saying 8 bodies, 9 bodies, but someone already had said that 42 bodies had been retrieved. So the issue of numbers also comes in, and one now tends to wonder what exactly is going on. The numbers, because there was also demand from the Mukuru residents to have media platforms report on the actual number. And I've also seen some of the comments from some of the reports that were given earlier on the comment section. The public is telling these people, no, give us the correct number. What you are reporting is not it. These people, they are many. So there was also the issue of numbers, and now we know 42 females, right? 42 females have already been dismembered. But let's just go a bit, as I read your reaction, let's just go a bit. Let's pay attention on the numbers. 42. Where did we say this came from? This came from a dream that both Paris and Evelyn had of Josephine telling them and pushing them to find her, right? And they acted on that dream. But I want to play something that the DCI said about dreams, because they insinuated that they were already moving methodically, and then we will touch on the 42 number.
We are not dreamers, and we don't believe in dreaming. And we were doing it methodically and very, very professional.
All right, so that's the DCI, of course, dismissing the power dreams played in this whole situation. And talking of dreams, guys, I also saw some people questioning these relatives. Some people are questioning them, and they are saying, despite the fact that Josephine talked to them on dreams, but they need to be investigated. It appears they know more than they are telling. But also some people came and said, guys, dreams are real. Our relatives talk to us through dreams sometimes, and even if they know an injustice has been done, they will push you when you're sleeping. They will come to you in form of dreams, and they will push you to do what is necessary. So on that also, I would love to hear your views on what you think about Josephine's family. Do you think they know more than they are telling? And do you think something is also shady? All right, so let's go back to the number. We are talking about 42 bodies, and this comes across because there is that issue of bodies. People are saying we are not being given the real figures, but today the DCI have confirmed that we are looking at number 42. Guys, do we remember Rita Waeni? Do we remember what happened to her? It's been months now. And if you remember, she was murdered and dismembered through the same style and fashion. And there were suspects, but the main suspect was caught on CCTV and he was never arrested. So people are now asking, is Pidiote surely? If we have people who have been caught on CCTV, they've never been arrested. Also the killer cops, you know, when we talk about Rex and all the Protestants that lost their lives, some of them are saying that we saw these people do it, but then these people have still not been arrested. How quickly did we catch this serial killer, right? I'm just reacting to what you guys are saying. But let's move into also, let's move to more comments from your end. Python here had said, no, Machete haiwezi fanya hiyo kazi. They are lying to us. Mwenye wameshika ni kama ni life sentence anaserve, na hiyo jina pia sio yake na hatoki Kayole. The DCI have hidden something that we can never identify. Ghost Next Door said, catching a killer without a post-mortem report to establish the cause of deaths. How did they arrest him with no leads? Whoever was dumping those bodies is definitely smart enough to cover his or her tracks. It takes years to catch a serial killer. Waache kutubeba ufala. So this one is asking for the post-mortem report, but I believe they might have arrested him based on that self-confession that he made. So we are also waiting for answers. Eric said, that has to be a record of serial killer crime solving worldwide. From the time the dumping ground is discovered to solving of the crime, with maandamano being tomorrow, forgive me for being a skeptic. Time will tell, but if they did actually get the killer, well and good. Eric is doing a correlation between the maandamano tomorrow and also what the DCI have told us. And also other people are also asking, could there have been a hurry for them to handle this before the maandamano tomorrow? Could they have done this so hastily because they know people are so upset and tomorrow people are going to lay down, you know, people are actually going to talk about it and demonstrate about it. They are saying this is a record for catching a serial killer, and also the fact that mwenye alikuwa amefanya hivi, he must have been smart and he must have been well calculated. And also the question of ameropoka aje hizi vitu zote, like honestly I don't know, what do you guys think? But also if they've managed to catch him, well and good. I believe this is what everyone was going for. I see someone here is also asking, how was the Kware dump site set on fire if it's an active crime scene, right? So many questions here. And also, let me read the last one. This is a reply, and someone says, but somehow since 2022, he was never arrested. Coincidentally, they found him today and we are not stupid. Of course, this started in 2022. The confession from Collins himself, he says that he murdered his wife first. This was the first casualty. This is the first person he murdered. And then he has been on a journey, and totally he has done this to 42 people. But let's go back to 2022, because if we have 42 bodies that we are looking at, are you telling me there was not a missing persons report? If Wambua, the guy who had been retrieving these bodies, said that previously, before this started, guys, 2 different tragedies, previously he had retrieved 8 bodies, right? So it means from 2022, that place, people have just been retrieving bodies. So it has been an active crime scene from 2022. Why was it not treated as so? So can you imagine, kama this person has done this to 42 people. So all along in Kenya, we have not had missing reports of these people. Who are these people? What exactly is happening in our country, guys? Like, I'm telling you, 42 people have been missing. Because if he has said the bodies ziko 42, these people have been missing, just like Josephine, right? So why has there not been an investigation? Or why did the DCI not say what they have been investigating, even after denouncing the power of dreams and saying they move methodically? So you would expect from 2022 to 2024, they have been moving methodically. So we would also have expected for them to tell us what exactly have they done, considering that the residents and people like Wambua have said that this place has been an active crime scene. So let's go on with a few reactions here and there. Someone wanasema the suspect will die in custody. Same well-known script of how to cover up. And a Small Wig said, how long did it take for the Shakahola massacre to die down and for Pastor Mackenzie to go back to business? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? There's one long one here, says, someone is being told to stop hyping and sanitizing the DCI. DCI can go to the length of arresting one of their own to diffuse public anger. DCI is a directorate that feasts on PR gimmick, but it is rotten to the core. Why did it take them that long to find out that there is a serial killer on the prowl before the Kware accident? Tough questions, guys. A lot of tough questions here, but let me just read a few. And Clinton says, how comes he never went missing after the heat intensified? And how comes he gives in so fast, barely less than 5 hours of interrogation? Hapa tunafunikwa and already wamechoma crime scene. kutufumba macho. And someone says, for the first time DCI wamefanya kazi in a record of 72 hours. Acha kutupima nani, we know you well, hii ni setup. Solo says, they say he was in the process of luring another victim with all the heat on the ground. Ni kama hajui what's going on, wanatupima ya. So from the confession, the DCI alleged that Colin said he was actually in the process of, luring another victim. And also people are saying, kwani he didn't know what's going on, he didn't know what's going on. But from the reaction that we are getting, does it also mean that you guys have lost faith in our DCI, the investigations? Does it mean that you guys are not, you are not content with the press briefing that was held? Does it mean that you guys think that this is even more, it's bigger than what meets the eye? Does it mean that munafikiria ukweli mmepimwa? Remember, we are analyzing the whole situation, and unfortunately, as much as I would love to read you, just comments from people who are applauding the DCI, I don't have much at this time, but you are open to let me know on the comment section. Do you think the DCI have done an incredible job? And do you think this is the way to go, that we get to sort these things as fast as possible? If you applaud them, you can always let us know on the comment section. And also, do you think this opens up another conversation now on femicide, given that all these victims are from the same area, and majority of them, I think I only heard Wambua talk about one man who had been found at the dumping site. So do you think this also now opens up another conversation on femicide, or what are your honest thoughts? And also, do you think this was just a distraction from tomorrow's maandamano? And do you think this is because Kenyans needed these answers before the maandamano? Do you feel played, or do you applaud the DCI for doing an incredible job? You guys, you can always engage me on the comment section, and it's very important for us to be able to keep check of these things as they happen, because guys, if we are advocating for a better country, we also have to be active participants in making sure that happens. So share your thoughts with me on the comment section. What do you feel about this whole discovery? What do you feel about this whole perpetrator? What do you feel about Collins? What do you feel about the DCI, having caught this serial killer in record time? What do you feel about this whole dump site, especially given that it's positioned in a very active environment? So people are saying there are always people around. So this is not just a kawaida. This is not just a kawaida thing. Do you think, what do you think? Let me know on the comment section, and hopefully I get to see you guys tomorrow at around the same time for a different conversation.